Hello again, welcome to a new video. In this video I'm going to do something special with this garage and I'm going to create a living space for a pool table. However, as you can see, it's not a big garage and it's very cold. It's November and it could snow. So what we need to do is put battens on the wall and put brackets on there, but we can't drill into the concrete panels because we could damage them. So I'm just going to show you how you attach it to the wall. Different garages have different ways of attaching battens, but this is the better way that I've found. So let's have a look. So here we have one of the wooden battens, 2 meters high. I've adapted some legit Compton legit brackets that fit on their garages, but unfortunately, as you can see there's an angle there. Put it on there, you can see there's an angle. On Compton garages, it's straight with a bolt. So I'm going to have to adapt these and bend them a little bit. So if we look over here, I've done that already. I've got a bolt that goes through the original concrete, and then another bolt that goes through the wood. And as you can see, I can move it, try and move it. I can't because it's really sturdy and secure. So once you've got your battens on, as you see, I've prepared the battens ready to go on the walls. But once you've got your battens on the walls, you need to put some insulation there. I'm going to use insulation board, Celotex or Kimping. It's just foil with yellow insulation in the middle and foil on the other side to give you some insulation, and we will need to do something with the roof as well. But I'm doing this video just to show you where I'm at the moment, and let's get on with the next stage, which is getting the insulation on. So I'm going to put the insulation up, but I just wanted to show you that I've put up the wooden battens and I've modified some brackets that I got off eBay, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I've also attached some pin grip to the end of the bolts to try and support them, because they are roofing bolts and they're not heavy duty. So obviously I needed to support them. And basically what I've been doing is putting all these wooden battens on, so I'll just show you what I mean. So there's the wooden battens that I've put on. In order to connect them, as I said in my previous video, what you have to do is find the panel where they put a bolt through and take the bolt out and put your own in there and make a bracket. Now you can buy some Compton brackets. They're about 12 for £25. They're quite expensive. So what I did is I went on eBay and got some of these, which are very similar. You can just focus. They're a lot cheaper. I got I think it was £10 for 20, and I just drilled holes in them and attached them. Just remember, there's going to be a lot of hard work putting these on. It's not easy, because you're having to drill through that piece of wood. I also attached a secondary piece of wood there, just to even it out and make it more square, and that is really sturdy and strong. So the idea is we're going to put some of this kingpin insulation boards that we have here. We're going to basically glue them using some foam adhesive, and we'll just glue them on to the actual boards. And then after we've done that, the next stage will be just to screw some plywood onto the battens. That's what they're there for, so you can attach wood to the sides of the concrete panels, because we can't drill into this. The reason for that is apart from the concrete not being very rigid and strong, as you can see here, a bit of it's come apart and you can see the insides of it, but it's steel reinforced. so it's not easy to drill into it. So in the next video I'll show you the next step once I've put all the insulation boards in. But one thing I did decide to do to add to this construction is put some wood beams across. I did one there, a little one there, and one further down here. And what I plan on doing is going to put 3 power points, 3 double power sockets, as well as a USB socket here. And I'm hoping to get an electrician in and modify the lights in here. What I want to do is have a standard dining room light there and a pool table light over here. And obviously this is the space. So it gives you, I suppose it gives you a bit of an idea where the insulation is, what the pool table size will be, because it will be 7 foot. And it's about probably a little bit shorter and probably a tiny bit in terms of the size of the pool table. But I just wanted to give you a video on my journey on creating this. Hopefully this won't be too boring, this video. In terms of cost, if you'd like an idea. So in terms of cost, it's not cheap. So in terms of the wood battens, I'd probably say I've spent something in the region of £200. That's about 30 2.5 metre pieces of wood, basically. I think it's 45 by 70 mil, if you're wondering. I've probably spent something in the region of £100 on the actual bolts, as well as the brackets. And the biggest expense is the actual insulation. This insulation I got from Seconds online. I'll put a link in the description box if you want to get hold of them. It's basically not quite perfect insulation, but it's good enough for my purpose anyway. Expensive though. I got 18 sheets, which works out about £17ish each, for about £400, because you've got to factor in delivery, which was £40, and the VAT, I think that was £67. And then the plywood itself was around £530 from Wix's. I've got 10 sheets. I'm not sure if that's enough in this build, so I may need to buy some more. Just wanted to give you a rundown on costs. It's not cheap, and that doesn't include accessories, extras, lights. The pool light system I'm going to get was about £100, and obviously a dining room light was about £30-ish. So your costs do mount up. That's before you even bought your pool table. And don't forget, I'm going to have to do something with the floor, because it's a bit creaky, it's old concrete, so I'm going to have to put some sort of a wooden floor down. It's not going to be cheap to do that either, or easy for that matter. So, just thought this video was a bit informative, and watch for my next update. See you. So I thought I'd just show you more or less what I've done. Here I've actually put an aerial socket there, so I can mount a TV on the solid wood there. The insulation is Kingspan. And I did get it for about £17 for a sheet of 2 metres and 2.4 metres by 1.2 metres, I think it is. So as you can see, I've got the majority of the walls done. This is going to be a small playroom where I'll put a pool table. As you can see, I've still got the roof to do, which is going to be a challenge, as it's just standard corrugated concrete panels that they make. So obviously is going to take a bit of thinking about how to put it on there. However, I just wanted to give you a quick update and show you where I'm at the moment. Let's see if we can go back and you can see the room from further back. It is a bit of a mess, I do apologise, but obviously it does take a bit of work. And I'll show you the roof next. Oh, okay, thanks for watching. Hello guys, welcome to a new update. So I thought I'd show you where I'm at. Basically what I've done here, I've put insulation in the roof and in the walls. About half the garage is done. Cost wise, it's costing about £400 in insulation and about £500 in the plywood I'm going to put up on the walls, which is going to be on top of the insulation. Quite an expensive do this is. Anyway, without further ado, I'll show you where I'm at the moment, and then in a further update I'll show you what I've done with the walls. But essentially we're waiting for an electrician to come to put some power points in. I'll show you that part later. Obviously there you can see I've got my boards up in the roof, but above that it's insulated to more or less the end of the garage. And as you can look around, hopefully this gives you more of an idea. I've insulated the roof there. Right, ladies and gentlemen, I thought I'd just show you what I've done in the end gable part of the roof here. Cut the insulation to size there. I've put some wooden blocks up where I will attach the plywood to. And if you're wondering how I actually attached the actual insulation to the roof, I just basically nailed it in there. There's nothing in terms of glue up here holding this up. And just one side note is the most difficult part of this project is the angled roof. So as you can see, I've got a gap here. So this is a bit of a dilemma. I'm not sure what we're going to do there, but I think an idea is I'm going to box it with some wood and angle some plywood going up, something like that. In terms of our power points, when we get an electrician, I plan on putting a socket there, and we move it over across the room there, another one there, and I've built another section there for, I thought I'd put a USB power socket there. Further up I've attached 3 pieces of wood there, and we've got a coaxial plug there, socket there, for a TV, because I thought it'd be a good idea to mount a TV on there, on a moving arm, so you can move it about, and I think that would be a good idea. At the moment where I'm at in terms of the insulation, I've been filling in the gaps with expanded foam. One side note guys, if you're using expanded foam, please use some gloves. Once you get it on your hands, it takes hours to get the thing off, and if you get it on your nails, I don't know if you can see there, but I've got some on my nails there. Anyway, it can take hours to get the stuff off, so use gloves when you're doing any sort of expanding foam projects. Over here we're going to have a light switch. My plan here is to remove one of these neon lights that you get in garages, and I'm going to put a light fitting in the corner there, and approximately around here I'm going to put a pool table light just across there, and that will be above the pool table, and I suppose that gives you a rough idea of where the pool table will be, where that piece of wood is. Approximately about a few inches shorter and an inch less wide, but that's more or less gives you an idea of where the pool table will be based. But going back to previous videos, obviously you can see what I've done there. I've bent brackets, attached it to a piece of wood. The bolt goes through there, and there's another bracket on the other side that holds that in place. I'm thinking about possibly putting some more brackets along here so I can use the insulation up a bit more. And then obviously there is the garage door, which will want insulating at some point. Obviously insulating the garage door at some point is going to be a challenge, and we'll have to figure that part out. Over here we have an electrical box. Now, because of where it's placed, I can't really move it. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to probably box this off with a box and insulate around it. And then at some point I was thinking about getting a garage door that you can open to the side of the garage so you can gain easy access. So that's the next step. Hopefully this is a bit informative in terms of putting insulation up, because I do appreciate there's not a lot of videos out there telling you how to go about it. The one thing I want to give you some advice about when you're putting this stuff up is be careful, wear a mask, because it does give off a lot of nasty dust. That insulation dust can be harmful to your health, so please you know, look after your health. Use some glasses as well, because it gets in your eyes a lot. Some goggles would be useful, but I just wanted to give you a bit of a walk around and show you where I'm at. The hardest part, I think, is getting it cut to size in the roof. So hopefully this is a bit informative, and thanks for watching. Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. In this video I just wanted to give you an update. I've put the insulation in the roof. I've got an electrician in to do some PowerPoints for me, and the next stage is going to be boarding up the plywood on top of that. I've used some expanding foam to wedge the actual boards in on the walls. Unfortunately it's a lot harder work than I thought it was. The next stage is going to do a wooden floor, but I thought I'd just give you a little look-see of what I'm up to at the moment, and then after that point I'll show you the rest. So here we have the insulation board. As you can see, I've used some expanding foam in the gaps to basically wedge it in place. I did have a bit of a gap here, which I've used expanding foam on, where the actual supports for the actual roof are, to just basically fill that gap up. I've got an electrician in, which obviously we're going to put a power point there. I need to show you where the cable runs through. And the plan is to put a pool table light there and have another standard fitting there to light the room. Obviously we've got another power point there and another one there, and I'll just show you the cabling as it goes up, and it's basically going all the way along there through that gap and along and eventually down. If you're wondering what I'm going to do here, I'm going to put a TV there, so that's why I put a TV coaxial socket there, and there's an aerial outside. But obviously I had to build a frame support for the actual mount for the TV, so I'll drill directly into there and I won't have to touch the concrete panels. And the reason I decided to do this video is a lot of people, the reason I decided to do a video on this is because there's very little on YouTube to show you how to do it. Essentially what you're doing is you're putting buttons on the actual panels on existing holes that are in there, and it is extremely strong. I'll try and just pull it, and it won't move. So we've got As you can see, the roof is quite low, and that's a problem because I'm 6 foot high and I've only got about maybe 2-inch gap. I keep thinking I'm going to hit the roof every time I walk in here. So obviously I can't build the wooden floor too high because of that. So the idea is we're going to put these battens on the concrete floor. We're going to fit some 18mm plywood on top of that to the floor. I decided to use the offcuts of the insulation boards to try and basically, you can see I've got it running all the way along. And what I did was cut pieces. I didn't bother measuring it, I just did it freehand by eye, and in the gaps I used expanding foam to wedge it in so it's complete and it's quite sturdy. I think I've done a quite good job there. But I just wanted to show you that you can use bits of boards to make a whole wall up if you don't have any full boards lying around and you've got offcuts and bits and pieces. You can basically put them together to fill an entire wall up. My next problem is going to be these gaps at the edges of the garage. How do I insulate it is going to be the problem. I may decide to use expanding foam for that, or I may decide to get some more offcuts and use what I've got remaining. However, I just wanted to give you an overview where I'm at the moment, and in the next video you'll get to see where I'm at. I hope you found this Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. This is a quick update. So we've got some PVA sealant we're going to put on the concrete floor. I'll just show you where we're at. You will not be able to get all the dust off. However, we're going to put this on to seal it, eliminate a lot of that dust that comes off cement, and then we'll put the floor leveler on top. This should be a quick process, and then the floor will be ready to level, and I'll see you later. Okay, that's about the consistency I've mixed it with. A bit like a milky consistency with water, and that should seal it from dust. And then we'll be ready to put the levelling compound on. We're just basically going to do it level with the existing concrete that's been put on there for the concrete panels there, as you can see. And that's more or less where we're at. When that's dry, we'll be able to put the levelling compound on. Hello guys, and welcome to another update on the build conversion of my single concrete panelled garage. So I'm just going to show you what we've done, give you an explanation of why I've done it, and hopefully you'll find this update useful. So what we've actually done recently is we've put some skirting board around the garage. It's very simple to do, but you might want to buy a miter box to cut the angles to make sure it is okay. Just to give you further information, or if you've not watched any of the other videos, is we've got some electrical PowerPoints that's been put in prior to putting obviously the plywood on. So the PowerPoint there, an aerial point there, PowerPoint there, light switch there. Further up here we've got
a point for a light, which I'm going to put a pool table light there, and another point here for a light as well. But I've also gone further, and I've actually done the entire roof. Right, and so here we have a single pane standard piece of glass that's over a wooden frame. This is no good for keeping any sort of heating or insulation, and from a security point of view it's very easy for anyone to break in. That's practically useless against a thief. Hello everyone, and welcome to another update on the conversion of the garage. So I've attached some plywood, and I'll just show you what I've been doing and talk you through what I'm doing with the plywood. So as you can see, I've attached plywood to the walls going around the garage. What's key for attaching them to the actual wooden columns that I've put up, the battens, is making sure there's space in between. So obviously I've left a little bit of a room there to attach another one to the other side, and I've done that more or less all the way around, approximately putting about 10 screws down the centre of the battens, and also fitting them on here as I have here. Here's one, and it's just a matter of giving it an extra layer of insulation. Obviously you can see I've got the Kingspan insulation there, very similar to the Celotex stuff, but we're in the process of starting to turn this insulation that I've put in the roofs. The only problem I've got that I can foresee in terms of putting the insulation in as well as the plywood is the corners. I have no idea, because I've got, as you can see, there's no wood here. Obviously there's a beam there and a beam near the middle, so I'm going to have to be quite creative here to figure out a way of attaching the plywood to that beam that I just showed you, and something here. So that's the challenge I faced in terms of, obviously I need to put a bit of insulation in there as well in that corner. As you can see, there's another corner at that end where the garage meets the wall. However, I just wanted to talk you through what I'm doing at the moment. Also I wanted to talk you through the power cabling that I've done here. I've put a hole through the batten that I've put a cross beam across the two battens there and there. So we'll be able to attach plugs to that quite easily, and obviously the cabling runs all the way up through there. The cabling goes along the roof. Obviously you can see some cabling there. So the power is running through this batten that's running alongside the two battens that I've got there. Now it's so the electrics is quite a challenge. So I've drilled a hole through this side batten that's attached to the two battens going vertically. It basically runs all the way up there. As you can see, there's a cabling there. Runs all the way along here. We've got cabling there for the lights. Some more cabling for another light there as well. It runs all the way down there to where I've attached, obviously we've got cabling there, as you can see, which I've had to drill a hole through the plywood. So we're going to duplicate what's on here over there, and hopefully this gives you more of an idea of where we're at. There's not many videos on YouTube on how to go about doing this, so I hope you find this video informative, and I'll see you in the next update. Hello everyone, welcome to another update. So, we're converting this garage, this concrete slab-based garage, into a games room, and I thought I'd just show you. Hello everyone, welcome to an update on this video. In this video I'm just going to talk to you about the corners, because they are the hardest things to figure out. So what I've done is I've put some of this insulation board against the main parts and filled it in with foam. So I'll just show you what I've done, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do next. As you can see, I've put a load of foam in. It's quite expensive, this stuff, so if you're going to get lots of cans you might need more than you expect. So I've done the corners where the actual roof meets the walls. I'll just go over here and show you what I've done in this corner. As such, you can see that I've spent a lot of time doing it. And if we just move back a little bit, I'll just show you where we're at with the actual plywood. So I've plywood the bottom part of the wall, as you can see. Done a bit up there. We've got some more over here, and I think we've done a half decent job so far. But one thing you need to keep in mind is it is expensive. This plywood here that I've got on the walls, I've got another 4 boards as well, set me back about £500, and that included obviously the 6 for the floor. I've got 18mm plywood for the floor and 12mm for the walls. So if you want to keep watching and wait for another update, I'll show you where we're at in the next couple of days. Alright, thank you, bye bye. Hi guys, I thought I'd give you a little update on the conversion of the garage, concrete based garage. So I'll show you what I'm doing. We're getting somewhere now, because as you can see behind me, I'm applying the plywood on top of the insulation board foam. So I'll just show you what I'm doing. So as you can see, I've applied the plywood to the walls, so it does look like it's coming along. The challenge I'm having here is how to apply the plywood to the actual ceiling, because there's not many wooden rafters. So my solution was to apply the plywood but leave a gap at the top. And I'll just simulate what we're going to do. Here we're going to slot in a bit of plywood there, and then we can nail it to that wall, that rafter in the roof, and another one further up. So I just wanted to give you a bit of a demonstration of how we're going to put it in the corners, because with a concrete based garage you have nothing to apply it to. So I just thought I'd show you where we're at. If you're wondering what that is, it's an aerial for a TV. One of the difficult things is the roof, cutting the wood and angling it right. Now I don't possess the necessary tools, so it's trial and error. And just guesswork with a tape measure. But so far, we're not doing a bad job. So I just wanted to show you where we're at with the conversion. As you can see, I've also finished doing the insulation for the roof throughout the entire garage. If you're wondering what those things are that are hanging down, it's just foam that I've sprayed in to fill in the gaps. So I just thought I'd show you where we're at the moment. It is coming along. It is a work in progress, but it is starting to look like a games room now. And I'll show you my next update when I've got the time. Thank you. Bye. Hello everyone and welcome to an update on the conversion of the garage. So I thought I'd just show you what I've done and where I'm at, and hopefully this will be insightful for anyone who wants to do something similar, since there's nothing on YouTube on how to do this. That's why I'm doing these videos. So let me just show you around. So please excuse the mess, but as you can see, I've used full size 2.4 metre by 1.2 metre plywood 12mm boards on the roof. I've also cut sections for the lighting. As you can see, I've got a cable coming down there and a cable coming down there. Obviously we've done the walls. If you're wondering what that's going to be, it's going to be a TV aerial. There's another cable there for a power outlet. As we move across, there's one just behind those boards. That's the light switch. We're going to put a 2-point dimmer on there. Obviously there's a window there. I'm thinking about putting a PVC window in there as well. Obviously I've done the walls all along the garage, all the way along to the, if you can tell in the lighting here, but as you can see there, where there's a panel actually at the front of the garage, I've cut a little section in the actual plywood so it actually meets there flush, as you can see. So as you can see, it's progressing slowly, and I'll give you a further update when we're further along. I'm hoping to get the electrician in to do the electrics, and I'll show you so the next stage is to get the electrics done, so I'm going to get an electrician in to do that. The plan is to put a 32-inch TV on the back wall, but as you can see, it's starting to look quite nice. It takes a lot of work and a lot of cutting. It takes a lot of work to do this, so please don't be disheartened by the amount of money it might take, because if I was to estimate a cost, probably at least £2,000 up to present, with insulation and the plywood. Plywood is really expensive. £30 for a 2.5 metre sheet is quite expensive, but it will look really nice when it's finished. And the whole point of this is to have a nice playroom. So if my niece wishes to come and play, she has a nice place to play in and away from the house. So hopefully this video will be informative on how you go about doing this. As I said, there's very little content on YouTube. As you can see, these are the concrete panels that we've had to try and insulate. So what we've done to insulate the panels is we've put foam board, which has right here you can see the concrete panels. So what we have to do is try to insulate the cold and keep the heat in. To do that, we're using some foam boards here that are covered in foil front and back to try and keep the cold out and keep the actual warm air in, and that's the whole point of insulating these concrete panels. And there's no one on YouTube giving you a video about this, so this is why I'm doing this, and hopefully you find this video informative. Hi guys, I thought I'd do another update. Got a bit of a problem here. I've put down some floor leveling compound and it's been cracking. So I've decided to pull it all up, which is a nightmare, a pain in the butt. But I'll just show you what I mean, how it's peeling. Someone at work suggested that it was too cold, being 5 degrees. I'm pretty sure I mixed it correctly. 5 litres of water for a 25 kilogram bag. But I'll just show you the cracks that I'm talking about. as you can see in the floor leveling compound, we're getting these cracks that are small, however it means that I'm able to pull it up quite easily. So I've come to the conclusion that I'm going to have to pull it all up. Obviously you can see I've done the entire floor in it, and it did cost me probably about £200 to put this stuff down. It's about 1 centimetre thick if we just get one of the pieces. You can see it's not that thick, but it's literally peeling up as I pull it up. So the plan is I'm going to mix some cement mixed with some fine stones, basically a small concrete mix, and we're going to put that on the floor instead, because what I need to do is raise the level up to the point where there's some concrete here that's been put there to support the actual concrete panels. As you can see, it's a panelled garage, and my whole idea of using the levelling compound was to raise the level to the actual existing concrete, because what was on here originally was some old cement that was literally cracking to pieces. So I pulled all that up, and then I put this levelling compound down. So as you can see, I've made a bit of a hash here. Any DIY experts maybe out there who may, or any builders out there might want to tell me why they think it's cracking. Someone at work suggested it was too cold, being 5 degrees or possibly a little bit below that, because it has been cold. That may have caused this. However, I'm going to have to pull it all up, and I think this time I'll stick with my original idea, which was putting down a cement, and hopefully that will be a better material. I've used concrete before and cement, and in general it's a reliable product and substance that's been used for hundreds of years. But I just wanted to give you an update. So as you can see, I've made quite of a hash with this. I know this project is taking a lot longer than I anticipated, and it's costing me a lot more money than I originally thought it would. But I thought I'd give you an update what I'm doing with the floor, because that's the last thing that needs to be sorted before I put the wood floor on top. So talk to you later, and I hope these videos was informative, and I'll see you later. Right guys, just a further update here. So, as you know, I've pulled up all the floor levelling compound that I put down, and here is a mixture of small gravel with cement, and I've had to do it all over again myself using cement, and it's basically a small mix of concrete really. And as you can see, it's turned out not too bad. This is my first time doing this, so it could have been better if I'm honest. However, this is where we're at with the conversion of the garage. As you can see, it's a concrete panelled garage. The idea here, this is why I've left a section here, is I'm going to put a door in there. I'm also going to put a PVC window there, because that's just a single pane glass, not very secure. And I may decide to block up the door completely and insulate that as well. But that's a job for another time, because the main priority is getting the floor built and getting our pool table installed in the room, as well as having the electrics completed. So what we're going to be doing in here in terms of electrics, we're going to have a 2-socket panel there for our electrics. We'll have another 2 socket. I'm going to put a USB one here, and we'll have another 2 socket outlet there as well. And here I plan on having a double dimmer switch, because what I'm going to be having here is we're going to have a normal standard typical spotlight system here, and over here I'm going to have a pull table light that will run along here. So the idea is we're going to have the pull table in the centre with 2 lighting systems, and that's more or less the build. I think what I might do is also put a pool table neon light on the wall, as well as put some sort of convection heater on the wall. Haven't decided which wall I will put that on. However, one additional thing I've done is I've put a TV aerial outlet here. I've just thought I'd show you the aerial system that we've got here, which is one of these small mini aerials, which goes through the wall there, through all the insulation and to that cable that you saw. So I just thought I'd give you an update on where we're at the moment. Hi guys, a bit of an update. I'll just show you what I've been doing. I don't know if you can see in the video, it's quite dark in here, but I've had to rip up all the floor leveler. It's possible that for some reason, oh, for fuck's sake, why are you focusing there, you dickhead? Hello guys, here's a bit of an update. I'm going to just show you the floor. I've had to rip up all the floor level. I don't know if you can see there, but I've had to rip it all up. Reason it was cracking, and I spent a fortune putting it down. It's probably too cold if I'm honest for it. It was 5 degrees. So here we are with some cement. I'm going to put it down there, and hopefully that will do the job of giving me a sound floor for the wooden floor. So, you know, keep watching and I'll give you more further updates. See you later, bye. Hello guys, welcome to a new video. I'm just going to give you a bit of an update and show you what we're doing here. So, as you can see, I've mapped out the supports for the floorboards on top of a new concrete bed. And I haven't done a great job in terms of having it level, but hopefully what I've done should even itself out. After all, it's only a little playroom in a garage. So in terms of what I did with the actual framing, I framed the corners out, so we had a solid support, and then we just screwed in the support beams across the frame. And what we're doing in the process now is putting down insulation. So here we have this XPS insulation board here, which goes down first. That's to give the floor a good amount of insulation, and then standard polystyrene boards are going to go on top of that to give it a bit more insulation in terms of keeping the room warm. And that's where we're at the moment. I hope, you know, you see, it does take a lot of work, a lot of effort, a lot of cutting, and try and use strong screws rather than small ones, because you need something to support the floor. and if we're going to have a pool table here, we need it to be really strong. So I thought I'd just give you a bit of an update where we're at the moment. As we get on, I'll show you more. But we are getting close to having at least 3/4 of the garage finished. Hello everyone and welcome to another day. I thought I'd discuss with you my conversion that I'm doing here, and I think I'll give you another look and show you what's going on. So as you can see, we're starting to fill some insulation in the voids of the frame or for the actual plywood floor. Now I've laid, as you've seen previously, a concrete cement mix on top because the original floor leveler cracked. So it hasn't cracked the concrete that I put down, so it's been a solid foundation. The problem is I didn't take a lot of care in actually making sure I leveled the concrete, and there are some dips here and there. So what I've had to do in order to flatten it out a bit so the wood is at the right height is use some of this board that we've got here to raise the level of the wood. So when I stand on it, it's quite solid rather than quite loose, and that's where we're at the moment. So as you can see, it's quite important that you insulate the floor because it's going to be cold concrete, and we need to have something as a barrier to keep the room warm. So I'm using two types of board. This is XPS foam. It's very similar to like a polystyrene hard board. It's very dense and very hard, and it snaps easily. And here I'm going to be using some polystyrene, stuff that you get in your packaging. It seems to maintain temperature really well, and it's really cheap compared to you buying the normal insulation board that you use to insulate your house, such as Celotex and Kingspan. But this is a lot cheaper, and if you're on the cheap, want to do it on the cheap, use this stuff because you can buy it probably for a 20th of the price. So I just wanted to do a quick update and tell you where we're at. It's taking a lot of time, I know, but I hope you find these videos informative because there's no one on YouTube doing this. So you know, just keep checking out the updates. If you've just watched a few of them, do watch them all because it'll tell you more or less how to go through it, how to do it from starting to finishing. So you know, it's really a good idea to watch everything. Anyway, I'll show you the rest when I finish, and talk to you later. Bye bye. Hello guys, and welcome to another update on the build conversion of my single concrete panelled garage. So I'm just going to show you what we've done, give you an explanation of why I've done it, and hopefully you'll find this update useful. So what we've actually done recently is we've put some skirting board around the garage. It's very simple to do, but you might want to buy a miter box to cut the angles to make sure it is okay. Just to give you further information, or if you've not watched any of the other videos, is we've got some electrical power points that has been put in prior to putting obviously the plywood on. So the power point there, an aerial point there, power point there, light switch there. Further up here we've got a point for a light, which I'm going to put a pool table light there, and another point here for a light as well. But I've also gone further and I've actually done the entire roof. Right, and so here we have a single pane standard piece of glass that's over a wooden frame. This is no good for keeping any sort of heating or insulation, and from a security point of view it's very easy for anyone to break in. That's practically useless against a thief. Right guys, I just want to show you an update on preparing the window for putting a PVC window in there. So what I've done is I've taken the old piece of glass, as you can see there, which is just one pane of glass over there, and what I have done is I've framed it out with a bit more wood so it'll fit. I've also put some wood preservative on there. I'm also putting some sealant on top of that. We've got some EPDM rubber here to protect from the weather elements. So that's what we're doing at present. Just wanted to give you an update on putting a window in there. It's not easy, it takes a lot of work, a lot of sanding. I've had to sand that down from 18mm to about 12mm, so it'll fit. And then once we've got the window in there, we will be using some expanding foam to fill the gap. So I just wanted to talk you through it, tell you what I'm doing with this, and I'll see you in the next video. Right, I just thought I'd do a further update on the window and talk you through what I've done, and hopefully this will be informative on how to put a window in. So what I've done is I've took the original glass sheet out, and that's all it was, a glass sheet. So I've decided to get a UPVC window. So as you can see, it's just a standard left opening window. But what I decided to do is I had to line the actual frame with a wooden frame that goes up, across and down. Then I had to put some EPDM rubber on that, as well as I had to treat the wood as well. And then once I did that, I decided to have a look, see if it fit correctly. I had to sand down the wood boards that I had put in to line out the original frame, just so this would fit in there. And then it was just a simple matter of putting some sealant adhesive on the EPDM and putting that rubber on the actual wood that I put up there, and putting the frame of this window in. And then to seal it in place, as well as screwing it in, two screws there, going into the wood. Hello guys, welcome to a new update. So in this update I'm just going to talk you through what's been done and give you a bit of a show around to discuss what has been done and what needs to be done. So the overall length of this Apex concrete panelled garage is 7 metres. Now I'm going up to about 5 metres in terms of the conversion, and at some point I've got to decide what I'm going to do about this wall. We're going to put some sort of door in the side, and the front of the garage where the main door is, there's two school of thoughts regarding this. Is I'll either just insulate the back of the door so we can have a front door still, or put some sort of stud wall over the actual door itself and seal the door up with insulating foam. That's another option that we may decide to do. But I'll just talk you through what's been done. So we've had the electrician in, we've got the lights set up. As you can see in the back, I've got a TV, 32-inch TV set up. I just need to sort out the cabling because it needs the cable needs to be a bit longer. So if you're interested, you can solder two bits of cable together and then put some a sleeve over it, a rubber sleeve, or some electrical tape over it. But that's something I'm going to do later. So we've got some pool table lights here, which is it's about 1.5 metre long, and this is a dimmable because I've set up a dimmable switch there, and we've got some main spotlights at the back. I'll show you that later, but I'll just turn it on so you can see it working. So we just turn it on. That's the spotlights, which seem to be warm light, and then we've got cool light in the actual pool table light, which looks quite nice. As you may have seen in the previous video, I put a new window in and some blinds there. We've got a heater installed there, one of those electric ones. I've got an aerial socket there because there's an aerial on the outside that I set up, and we've got two double standard gangway plugs here and a special USB one at the back. So that's more or less where we're at the moment. Now if you're looking at the front and you're wondering what I'm doing here, is I decided 4.5 metres isn't long enough, because this carpet that I'm going to put down is 5 metres in length, so I thought that I need to make it a little bit longer, just so that if we have the pool table here, we've got a bit of room to walk around it, you know. So as you may not have known, I had problems with using floor leveling compound originally, and had to dig it all up and put cement and concrete down instead. I should have levelled it a bit better, and that's caused me quite a lot of problems. So for any advice for anyone who wants to put concrete down, you're going to have to, probably best thing to do is do it in stages rather than one go, if you're doing a small area on your own, because you need to make sure it's level as possible. Frankly speaking, I was getting a bit tired and I made a few mistakes. So this section here, I decided to put floor leveler compound down. It's only a small area, so it was more manageable, and I did a pretty good job. The only thing I had a problem with, as I mentioned before, is these panels are basically, this garage is put in place of an old one. The old one was taken down, so they left the existing concrete floor and then just put a bit extra around the sides to make the garage wider, and these concrete panels are on the wider parts of the concrete they laid, and we're in the process of just making sure that it's level as possible. So what I had to do, unfortunately, was grind some of the concrete away to try and get it level. So at the moment we've got this wooden frame floor where we're going to put some more plywood down, and I think we're getting there, you know, but I think it's looking quite decent now. What I just want to say to people out there who want to do conversion is, don't get disheartened with all the work that's involved. At one point you may get bored and had enough of doing it and just want to go inside and play a game or watch TV, but you need to persevere, because you know, at the end of the day it's worth it. I want to run through some of the costs because I don't think I've mentioned it really. It's an expensive job, this. The insulation Kingspan thermal sheets that I've used, I got about 18 sheets delivered for around £400 from a company called Seconds. Do a search on Google, and they're basically quite cheap. And you know, I got 18 sheets for around £400. Now, the plywood, very expensive. For a sheet of 2.4 metres by 1.2, it's about £30 a sheet. And I think I've gone through about 30 sheets, if I'm honest with you. So that's a lot of money. I think into the plywood, the costs are probably around the £1,000 mark, because I had to buy it in bits, and then I had to buy these kiln dried softwood. Now, it's probably advisable to use hardwood instead of softwood, but the softwood was cheap, so that's why I got that. Cost in terms of the framing of the entire garage, in terms of the wood I've had to buy, I probably rate that at probably around £300 to £400 mark. So all in all, plus it's not just that, obviously the window costs money, and you know, all your bits and bobs you have to buy. Tools, you know, I had to buy a belt sander, I had to buy a new drill, I had a crappy blue silver lime drill that was useless. I've had to buy screws, bits and bobs, so I don't know, if you want to add all that in, I'd probably say there's probably about maybe £300 to £500 in that, because screws cost money, insulation foam costs a lot of money. Believe it or not, I've used a lot of insulation foam cans. I've probably done about 30-40 cans in total. Maybe I should have got one of those big containers. But the insulation itself, the insulation foam, I'd probably say a couple of £100 there. So if I have to give you a rough idea, about £2,000 to £2,500 I've probably spent. Don't forget, there's also the lights. I've had to buy the TV. You know, I'll do a quick tour for you so you can have a look what I've done so far with the lights. We've got some, I don't know if you can see it in the video here, but we've got two 90 centimetre LED lights that I've put up for the front of the garage, just so there's light, and believe it or not, they generate a lot of light, and they're not expensive. These were about £10 a piece, so you know, they are good lights. The pool table light here, which took a lot of working out how to fit to the actual roof, was about £90. The spotlight system here, that we've got spotlights on here, that was about, I think that was about 30 quid, something like that. And then there's obviously the bulbs. The bulbs are really expensive because they're dimmable, you see. As we've got a double dimmable light switch there, so the actual bulbs for the actual pool table light is probably about £20, and about the same for the actual, you know, because I got a good deal on eBay. Because I noticed if I went to the local B&Q store, which is a hardware store like they have in America, were really expensive. I think they were about £20 a piece. So, you know, shop around on Amazon and eBay if you want to get cheap, you know, LED lights, because that's the future at the moment. Getting the old style lights. They claim these LED lights last 15 times longer than the old style, so don't know if that's true, but we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I just wanted to give you a rundown of what I've done really. It's a difficult project to do, so don't take it lightly if you want to do something like this. But I noticed very few people on YouTube or on the internet, or if you do a Google search, have done any videos on how to do this. And it was frustrating because I couldn't find anything apart from an article on Compton Garages where there was about 2 pictures showing this, a brief description, and not telling you how to do it. Because Compton Garages were selling some brackets and the brackets didn't fit. I had to modify them and bend them to actually fit the Concord grooves of the panels. So, you know, I just wanted to do a video to tell you about where we're at, you know, what I've done. What else have I done? I've obviously put some skirting board along there. You know, it looks quite nice, doesn't it? Obviously we've lined the roof with plywood as well as the Kingspan insulation. The actual expanding foam, the majority of that has been used in the corners. Because I don't know if you've watched any of the other videos, and I do encourage you to look at the other videos. But the most challenging part of putting the wood in and the insulation in is when we get to that joint where the actual roof meets the wall. Because obviously it's very narrow, it's like that, you know, and getting the actual insulation in terms of that gap isn't great, it isn't that deep. So the majority of the insulation in terms of it's insulating the actual garage to keep it warm is in the roof and the walls, but that joint there is the problem. So I think that's where we're going to lose some of the warmth. So let me just give you a tour and show you where we're at, but I hope these videos have been informative on what you need to do to get this done. But yeah, just one school thought. In terms of an electrician, just make sure you've got a good one, because get someone you can trust, because what you don't want is someone to do a really bad job. So hopefully you'll find this useful. So let's have a look. Right, let's start with the LED column lights that we've got there. Let's move across. As you can see, another one there. And if we come across into the garage, as you can see, we've got our heating unit there, TV and socket there, socket down at the bottom. Moving across, we've got this nice pull table light. Over there we have a free spotlight. So there, as you can see, we've got a free spotlight system light, giving good illumination to the room. Over here we've got another gangway power outlet, as well as our double dimmer light switch, and obviously that's the rest of the garage down there. But I just wanted to give you a bit of a brief tour, show you what we've done. Let me know in the comments what you think. Have I done a good job? I think there's a few little jobs to do, such as putting down the carpet, but I think we're getting there. Let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think I've done a good job? And I hope these videos were informative. As I said here, this is the open area, you see, where the electrics is. And here is where we're going to put a door, side door to the garage, so it's you know more discreet in terms of entering the garage, so no one knows whether you're in or not. And it'll probably go there at some point. And obviously there's the electric box there. We do have a switch for the main color and LED lights, and obviously another outlet, and there's the power box. that controls the electrics in here. But I just wanted to give you a brief tour and show you where we're at. Do you think I did a good job? I hope I did. And I'll see you in the next video. Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Here is a quick update. I thought I'd just show you where we're at. With the garage conversion, I've installed a TV, I've installed a heater, we've got the lights set up and installed, and I'm about to lay the carpet, and I'll just show you how you go about fitting grippers for the carpet, which is basically this. Just basically you need to nail it in next to the skirting board, but give you a good centimetre gap in between, so it means you can pull the actual carpet underneath the skirting board. And as you can see, I've gone all the way along and around the room. I'll just show you what I've done with the actual heater to actually hide the cables and make it neat and tidy. Is use those nail clips that you can hammer in to attach them to the wall, make them nice and tidy. I've done that with the TV cable as well as getting one of these convenient cable management system things that you can pop up, and obviously a TV there. And in terms of what I've done with the TV is put the cabling through there, through the cable management system on the actual mount to the TV. And obviously we've got an external aerial coming through as well. So as you can see, I think I'm getting there. It's starting to look nice. I think a matter of getting this complete is basically that carpet will be fitted. I did have a bit of a problem down here originally with the skirting board actually touching the floor, and as you can see I need a gap underneath there. So the carpet will slot underneath the skirting boards, and obviously that's where we're at the moment. It does take a lot of effort, so just don't think this is going to be you spending a solid month and you'll get it done. Believe me, you won't. I'll just show you lights. We've got these pool table lights. I got them for about £90, and a standard dimmable lighting system there. They're warm light. This is cool light for the actual pool table that we're putting in there, and we've got a dimmable light here. Obviously that will turn on the lights, as you can see, and as you can see there we've got the pool table lights working, and that's where we're at the moment. Let me know in the comments what you think. You think I've done a good job or not? As you can see, we've got power outlets, double ones there, and one over there, and here I've got a special USB one, so we'll be able to charge our phones up through USB. And that's where we're at the moment. I've done more or less the roof. I'll just show you one thing that you might not have seen, which is these LED columned lights, which are not expensive. They are really cheap to get hold of. They only cost about a tenner each, and that's where we're at the moment. So I'll show you the finished article with the carpet down, and that'll be it.
I'll get it more or less straight, but obviously it's going to sink into your carpet.
Right.
And if you move it anywhere, basically, just get two lads to lift, and you just adjust the metal feet at the bottom.
Right.
So if it rolls that way, then two won't come out. So you do the sides first and then the top. But seeing you've put it on the stand, you might have leveled it out a bit.
Yeah, well, it's plywood in fact, so there's no...
Sometimes in the garage they slope down to the door, you see.
No, it does, but I
But
have
if you level that bit,
I have to try and level it as much as I can.
you've done a good job, have a look at it.
Hello, welcome to this video. I'm going to keep it short and sweet, but I want to go through the costs of doing my garage conversion, a concrete panelled garage, into a billiards, pool or snooker room area. So it was a concrete panelled garage which are quite damp, so you need to insulate it properly. And I've got a list here of how much everything cost me, so hopefully this will give you a rundown and an idea of what they cost, and also I'll put links in the description box so you can obviously buy these items directly yourself to do your own conversion. Just a quick note, I'm not affiliated to anyone on Amazon or eBay, so I won't make any money from this at all. I just want to make that clear, because my videos are to help you guys out there, not for me to make any money. Anyway, let's get down to what I bought. So I originally saw a blog online on how to attach battens to the concrete panels, and to do that you need to get some Compton garage lining clips. Now you get 12 in a pack. 2 packs are £50. Got them off eBay. They seemed quite expensive, so I got some flat bracket mending plates, which was half the price, double the quantity, for £24 a pack, which you got 20 in, and that seemed better value for me, so I got 2 packs. Then I needed some Celotex insulation board, which is very important. You get insulation board. It has the silver backing on the front and back to obviously reflect cold and insulate heat as well. So I went for the 40mm thick stuff at £17 each, 25 sheets, 2.4 metres long by 1.2 metres wide. That cost me £475. £50 delivery is included in that. I also got some polystyrene boards for the floors, about £50 that cost me. And I also got some XPS floor underlay boards, which are blue, for £100 to put on top of the polystyrene for the flooring, because I need to make sure the floor is insulated. It's quite important now, because you get a lot of cold coming up through the floor. So plywood, very important. This very expensive as well. Plywood 12mm, same size as the insulation bars at 2.4 metres by 1.2. 17 of them, £30 each, so that's £510. I also needed some plywood that was same size but 18mm thick for the floor, £150 that cost. Then I needed my wood to do the battens on the walls. So I went for sawn kill dried wood, C16, 45 by 70 by 2.4 metres. You can obviously use other types of wood if you want it to be treated. And that was £334. Tapes, gaffer tapes and aluminium tape, you know, to seal the roof with the insulation board, join them together. That cost me £20. Then I need some expanding foam. You'll use a lot of expanding foam when you're doing this, just to fill all the gaps in. So I used Everbuild expanding foam, which is reasonably priced and it's quite decent stuff. 500mm cans, I got 20 of those, so about £180 there. A foam gun, which is quite important. If you're doing a lot of foaming, it's a good idea to have a gun to do it rather than using the supplied plastic nozzles that they give you. £20 for that. Floor levelling compound, 25kg bags, £128 for about 8 of those. What happened was the floor levelling compound, because it was cold, cracked, so I had to pull it all up. So I decided to put concrete and gravel down instead. That was around £100 to do that. So, you know, it's a mistake I made, but you know, when you're doing these conversions you do make mistakes, so you've got to allow for that. Everbuild silicone, 20 tubes, £60 for that. You use a lot of silicone if you want to join up areas and fill in gaps. A caulk gun that I needed, that was £15. Screws and bolts, you use a lot of screws, especially a lot of bolts, especially when you're putting the brackets on. You know, the thing is with concrete panel garages is they're joined together with grooves. The bolts are just for added extra security. You don't necessarily need them in reality because the structure is quite sound. But the bolts are there for peace of mind, I suppose, and extra security. And what you do is you attach your brackets to the bolts. But you'll need a lot of bolts, you know, to fit your battens on the walls going up and vertically. I needed an electrician to do the wiring, obviously, for the power boxes and the lighting. So I got someone who did it for £300, and that was quite cheap. If you don't know someone in the electrician's world, you could possibly spend twice that. Obviously I got some electric sockets and switches, about £100 for that. Light fittings, about £150 for that. In terms of, I've got my pool table light, my main fitting light, and the switches, obviously, and some extra LED neon lights, you know, further down the garage. And then tools, there's a lot of tools you have to buy for doing various things, such as sanding belts, grinders, drills, that sort of thing. The only thing I want to give you a bit of advice on is don't go for the cheap manufacturers, because they won't last 2 minutes. Go for the main brands like DeWalt, Bosch, You know, Black & Decker. Go for decent quality stuff that'll last. I know it's more expensive, more money. Sometimes it can be double the price, but trust me, it pays to get the good quality stuff. Maybe not, you might not realise it in this job, but when you're doing another job, or say you get a job as a tradesman, those tools will serve you well. So I spent about approximately £250 in tools. You know, obviously drills, grinders, belt sanders. It came quite handy having a belt sander for sanding the floor. Very important to make sure it's level. So that's just the materials really that I've bought, and I'll put a lot of links in the description box for you guys, so you can buy them if you want to. But I spent approximately £3,116. That's a rough guide. I probably spent a bit more than that, but I've still yet to finish the garage as well. I've got to do the front door and put in a side door. So I probably estimate it's probably worth £100 to £1,500 in terms of extra work to be done. And then the installation of the side door, I'd probably say about £500. That's what I've been quoted by the garage company. So if we were to round it off, maybe £4,500 to get that done. And then I bought a pool table, obviously £500 on top of that. That brings it pretty much close to £5,000, doesn't it? And then obviously you've got all your accessories. Obviously I did buy a carpet as well on top of that, so that was about £120 I think. So if we round it off, a maximum of £5,500 to convert the entire garage. I think that gives you a rough idea of how much it probably will cost you at the end of your project. You may have a few friends that can help you out, or but this is materials. You just can't escape the fact that doing the conversion in your concrete panel garage is going to be expensive, folks. There's no way of getting around it really. If you want to do a conversion, you want to have a nice pool or snooker table in your garage so you can play at your convenience, or whether you want to have an office or a playroom for your kids. It will be expensive to convert it, but it's worth it in the end. You know, at the end of the day you'll have somewhere you can chill out, play a few games, relax, or maybe do some work away from family and the kids and the rat race, and just have some me time. I suppose this is why people do this really, because they want to create their own space, a place where they can gather their thoughts, de-stress, relax. They might want to create a gym or a workroom, somewhere where they can just relax away from everyone. So I just hope that's helpful. As I said, I'll put links for all the things I've discussed here in the description box. If there's anything else I think of, I'll put it in the description box for you to have a look at. But I do urge you to watch all the garage conversion videos that I've done, especially see the final one that I did, so you get an idea of what it looks like. But it is challenging. You do spend a lot of time. I spent about a year, because obviously I've got a full-time job as well, where obviously I'm just trying to get a few hours here, a few hours there to do bits of work as I go. But I think once you've got it finished, you'll have a bit of pride in what you've achieved, and that's what it's all about. You know, having a bit of pride in yourself that you've achieved something that, you know, you didn't think you could do. And to all the naysayers out there, where there's a will, there's a way. You know, if you've got motivation, you can achieve anything. And I hope this video and the other videos I've done to create this, you know, living area, this playroom, has inspired you to create something. And I hope to see you in the next video.
Thank you. Hello everyone, here is a quick video. I just want to show you a slate bed pool table, UK style. This is 7 foot in size, and I want to show you the difference in pool balls. And obviously you can get 1/16 snooker balls, as well as 2-inch UK balls, as well as the 2 1/4 inch American balls. But I just wanted to show you the problems you may encounter if you try and use different sized balls on a UK pool table. So without further ado, let's have a look what we've got here. So obviously here you can see I've managed to move the slate bed over to the right a little bit. It's advisable you try and do this with 2 people, as you could drop it. So obviously I advise you highly never to do this alone. With that being said, obviously I've attached this to the roof, the actual lid, and moved the bed over. Now the problem I've encountered here is this particular bar here, which is stopping full-size balls going through. So obviously here we have 2 1/4 inch American. Here we have 1/16 snooker table ball, and here we have a UK ball which is 2-inch. Different sizes obviously for different tables, but I wanted to come up with a way of using American balls on my table. However, what I've experienced is that you can use it on nearly all the pockets. The middle one here, the top ones, you can physically pop them in the pockets and it works fine. However, for some bizarre reason unknown to me, this bar here is restricting the American balls going through, as I will demonstrate. So let's have a look what we're doing here. So as you can see, we have 3 balls here. I think what I'm probably best doing is do it in reverse order. So here you can see we have the UK 2-inch ball, the snooker table ball, which is 1/16, which is only a tiny bit bigger than the UK balls, and obviously the American balls are much bigger at 2 1/4 inch. So without further ado, I will show you it running through the system, and you'll be able to hear the ball drop. Where it's dropping is a compartment where the ball return is. I've removed the lid, which contains the running system for the actual pool table. As you can see here, this is it. I've removed the coin system, so obviously it will, so the bigger balls will flow through onto the bottom of the table. But I just wanted to illustrate the issue you may experience on a UK table. Obviously this won't apply for American tables, but let's have a look. So we'll move that out of the way. So this is the UK ball. Obviously that will run through with no problems. As you can hear, it's dropped, and that's fine, no problems. Here is a slightly bigger ball, and this will run through, no problem either. There you go, no problem with that. However, when we try a bigger ball, like the American ball, we experience a problem. Hopefully you'll be able to see this in the video. So, I don't know if you can see that in the video, but it's stopped just there. So this supporting beam here is preventing that ball going through. However,
if I show you that on another pocket, just move this over. This is the middle pocket. I'll put this through again. What's happening is it's missing that supporting beam there. We put that through. And that goes to the bottom of the table as well, no problems. So what we're getting out of this video is that in the top 4 pockets you will be able to pot American pool balls quite easily, no problems, on a UK table that is. However, the 2 bottom pockets won't accept the balls. I suppose a way around this is possibly to put some foam in those 2 bottom pockets, so obviously you don't have to go to the palaver of moving the slate bed like I've done here. But I just wanted to illustrate that you should be fine with snooker balls on your regular, if you want to use full size regulation snooker balls on your UK pool table, you will be fine, no problems. You can obviously certainly use your 2-inch balls, no problems at all. However, if you want to practice using American balls, which are 2 1/4, you will experience a problem like we have here. Now you might be asking yourself, why do I want to use American balls on a UK table? Well, the answer to that question really is very similar to anyone who wants to use Chinese 8-ball tables and use American balls on those. It's all about experimenting as well as enhancing your skills, because clearly potting a larger ball in a smaller pocket is more challenging and makes it more skillful to do. And I suspect if you can master that skill, you will be head and shoulders above anyone in your local area. So this is what professionals do. You know, they practice with bigger, smaller balls, tighter pockets. You may see some videos out there where they put cushion inserts into the actual pockets to make them smaller. That's something that is quite often done to challenge themselves, especially those of you who are watching this video from America. Your pockets on your pool tables are very large, and to be honest with you, potting in the bottom and top pockets seems relatively easy, too easy in fact. And if you compare that to snooker, which are a lot tighter and harder to pot, this is the reason why professionals, you know, do put inserts into those American table pockets to make it tighter, to make it harder for them. Because ultimately, if you go to a competition, you want to make sure you're at the top of your game and able to perform. And to do that, you need to, you know, up your skills a bit more to make it more challenging. So I just wanted to show you a problem you might experience having a UK table wanting to use American balls. So to recap, in the top 2 pockets, you can use your American balls, no problem. In the middle pockets, you'll be able to use your American balls, no problem. However, in the bottom 2 pockets, there's an issue. I'm not sure how this issue could be resolved. I suppose it's possible you could think about grinding a little bit under the metal support where the balls would pass, so there would be room to pass under. That's a possibility. However, would it actually damage structural integrity of the table if you did that? I don't know. It's something I am going to think about, but I just wanted to show you more or less an issue you could have if you want to use American balls on your UK table. Any comments? Feel free to subscribe to my channel, but let me know what you think. Do you think there's a way around this. Anyone out there who has some useful hints and tips about using American balls on the UK pool table, please let me know. I'm all ears, but you know, it's an ongoing journey for me, learning. At some point I'll probably create a separate channel dedicated to playing pool, but let me know in the comments what you think. Do you think playing American balls on the UK table is viable? Will it increase your skill set? Do you think it is a positive thing to do? I hope to see you in the future, and have a nice evening.